So our district already has provided some guidance to implementing student portfolios. So the information for that has been provided here. And if you will click on this resource, it will give you a more in-depth look at expectations by grade level. And so you can see that each learner is expected to have some form of personalized data notebook, and then specific expectations for what should be tracked throughout the year. And these are kind of the minimum requirements. They even go so far as to give you kind of a timeline of what should be being tracked throughout the year. So to take this digital, you can see underneath here, I provided some different templates to help you get started with doing this with digital academic tracking. So if you click on one of these templates, it will take the district provided resource, and it's been basically just put digitally. So you can use the template and it should create for you a copy of a slideshow that has the different trackers that the district has developed and taken them digitally. So you can see that students are able to input their data onto the slides themselves. And so one way that you could implement this is by simply putting this into your Canvas course and creating it as a Google assignment. So each kiddo has a copy of their academic tracker, and then you essentially have created a digital portfolio for them to track with. So you'll see that there is an example for 3rd through 6th grade. If you are beyond 6th grade and you are a secondary teacher, you could still utilize these as kind of a basis, starting point for an idea of how you would want to track for your particular subject area. It gets a little bit more complicated trying to create digital tracker templates for secondary because there are so many different subject areas and all that kind of thing. So, but this should at least give you a starting point that you could take and personalize for the needs in your classroom. I do think it's really important to keep in mind that you don't necessarily have to do your student portfolios digitally, but part of the conversation we're having is the benefit of doing so, the flexibility, the accessibility that it gives your students. And so as we continue on, we'll look at a few more components that you could track either physically in your classroom or digitally, and then we'll start to move into talking about how to actually implement digitally if that's what you start to lean toward wanting to do for your classroom. So at this point, I would encourage you to spend a few minutes looking over the guidelines that the district has laid out and looking through the different tracker templates that are here and provided for you. You will probably want to use one of these later in our course to give you kind of a starting point as we begin to hopefully help you develop your own version of digital portfolio tracking for your students. So take a few moments and just kind of peruse through these different components, and then when you're ready, go ahead and move on to the next segment.